Hello, Kevin Atkins, K&D Lures. Did a video yesterday on how to paint tutorial on doing crankbaits and had a really good response on it, and people telling me that it helped them a lot, and that there's hardly any videos on there on how you paint fishing lures, so I figured I'd do another quick one. I got a DT16. Some lures you paint the bill, some you don't. Just varies what the customer is wanting. I like painted bills. I think it makes it look like it's a custom painted bait. But some people don't want it that way, so whatever the customer wants. But this one I'm not painting for anyone, I'm just doing it for myself. Probably post it. Painted it OPEC white. The OPEC colors really the biggest problem you'll have when painting. The tip of that, when you'll see that needle disappear and appear. That needle right there normally has a cover, a little silver cover. After you paint for a little while, you can take that cover off because you can do finer details. But the biggest problem you'll have painting is there's paint that gets built up on the end of your needle. Water-based colors are 2-3 minutes they'll set up. So you just have to pick that off. Some people don't want to touch their needle. I just kind of be careful with it and make sure you keep that clear. As long as you keep that clear, you should have good airflow. I do a little higher pressure than most people I see online, just because I don't want to water down my baits. I want the colors to be heavy on there so they don't fade. So on this one, I'm just going to paint gold. I know some people who are experienced painters see how much paint I'm putting on here, and they're like, oh my goodness, it's going to run. And I don't have any problems with my paint running as long as I don't water it down. And I do run higher air pressure for that very reason than what I see most people run. And that's just a little gold on it. Try to get it under the bottom of the bill. Why not? Good thing about painting lures is no two of them are the same. Now most people would have dried their baits 2 or 3 times between doing that, but that bait is not run. It is laying on there smooth. I do dry my baits between. I've got a little heater running, and I use a Windex bottle with just water in it, and I spray out the colors between spraying. Before I change the color, I will shoot some water in there, and that will blast that paint out. And then I always check my tip, because you'll be amazed at how quick paint will build up on there. So now that, flip that around. Now we're going to go with red. Just put a little red on the hairbrush. Now I'm just going to fade that red, not all the way to the top. Right down the side. This red tends to be a little thinner. I know I painted that out of camera view. I will try to do this one in camera view. I'm just going right towards the eye and not to the top. Covering up some of the gold. And those match pretty good. Put that in front of the dryer. While I do that, I'll spray the red out. Check the tip. Turn the bait. Now we're going to go with green. Always shake the colors up. I'm using Wicked. Wicked colors are good. Kratex colors are good. And Wicked is good. Most of these colors you don't have to thin to paint with them. That's what I like, because the less work I got to do, the better. I'm going to go with green. Top of this lure. Now when you apply green, it will look yellow when you put it on there. When you first spray it, it will look yellow. But as you get it on there, it will darken up with every pass. I'm gonna dry that, put it a little darker. The more you put on, the little bit darker it'll get. That's dry. And every time you color it, you'll get more darker. It will get more green. It'll get greener and greener. Let that dry. I'm gonna clean out the lure. You'll probably see my little dog back there. He's chasing a moth around. Okay, so that is painted. Now, we're going to take stencil. I got a couple of them. I think I'll use this one. Now this lays on this lure about like that. And all you do is paint right along the edge and let the color go over top. I'm using black to do my crawl. Right over the top. Normally I don't clamp these, but I want to try to show you guys how I paint these. So I use it. I'm just using black. This is the Wicked Black. It's still an opaque. You can see that. I'm just going to paint right along that edge. Giving you that. Always dry that before you move on. And while that's drying, your stencil. When you use a stencil, you have to flip it. So you're gonna get paint on your lure if you don't wipe it off. I'll leave a rag down here on the table. Now it's dry. And that's dry. So now, flip this. Try to match the other side. Try to match so they come up together. Bring them up. Okay. Now, that is like that. Paint. And just paint the same way. Right along the bottom of it. Letting the paint fade up. And that is what we've ended up with. Hit that with a dryer. Literally takes a couple seconds. It's dry. Now I got this stencil. I put tape on it to make it a little longer, but it's stencil. It's a hard piece of plastic. I've cut. We'll go right there. Try my best to do this to where you guys can see. Trying to go up semi-straight. I'll just wrap my hand around it, hold it. Paint. Let the paint just go over top of it. And do that. Move right down your lower. You want to try to keep the same angle. Looks like that. Now, go across the back, vertical piece, straight. I made these a little wider, just change up the look. That has no vertical lines on it. That has your crawl pattern going up. Dry that. I'm going to do one in the front. Right beside the eye, just to change it up. Like that. Do the other side. Hit this top vertical. This side. Now, I'm gonna dry that. Make sure you always keep an eye on that tip. Just get yourself in a good habit. Every so many seconds, check that thing. That will save you a lot of splatter and a lot of problems. I'm going to wrap up this front. Just to change it up a little bit, maybe do a little something like that. Now, we've got some good colors on here. I'm going to take my black, just a regular paintbrush. This is what I use to put my epoxy on. It's just little paintbrushes from Walmart that you can pretty much throw away. Cheap little paintbrushes. I think they're 97 cents for a pack. Dip them into black, like so. And all I do is flick it. And I will dip it. The first time the paint's really heavy. I just work my way around the bait. Sometimes I do the bottom, sometimes I don't. This one I like the black splatter with the gold. I think it looks really good. And I know there's probably a million different techniques that people use for this, but I just kind of come up with this one myself and it works. That's all that matters. That is what we have. And when you put epoxy on that, it will pop. Put that in front of the dryer, and that one we will call done. And that bait will look like that when you put a 2-part epoxy on it. I used a 2-ton 30-minute epoxy. If you try to use the 5-minute cure, it sets up before you can get it on the bait. I know some people use it and you can get it on there really fast, but the 30-minute, you're not rushed. You can brush all your bubbles out. But your baits turn out spectacular with a good 2-part epoxy. Hope this video helps some people out, and check me out on K&D Lures. I paint pretty regular, a couple times, 4 or 5 nights a week. I'll try to do some more videos to help some of the new painters out. I appreciate you guys.